My name is Kurt Ferris. I live in Chattanooga, and I'm an attorney downtown. I had a fall in September of 2023, and it was what the MRI described as a massive rotator cuff tear. So 3 of the tendons were torn entirely. I contacted a doctor who had worked on both my knees previously, unrelated, and he said, you need to see Dr. Daniel Doty, who has done a 1-year fellowship specifically in shoulders. And they thought at the time that I needed a replacement. So I set up the first meeting with Dr. Doty, and it was interesting because I'm not really young anymore, unfortunately, but he said, you are young, you're young. He kept repeating this like 3 times. He said, I think we can repair this as opposed to replace it. And so I said, done a 1-year fellowship, I trust you, let's try that. It was a flawless process. They called me the day I was due here, and I was supposed to come at noon, and they said, he's running a little early, can you get here sooner? So we got here about 11, and by 7 p.m., I don't remember a lot of it, 7 p.m. my wife was here, and we left later that day. And it was, one thing that really surprised me was the post-surgical follow-up. I probably called 3 or 4 times, when can I drive? How do I get ahead of this pain? And she was just outstanding. So Dr. Doty's post-surgical nurse. The follow-up was equally good. And then I've had 2 follow-up appointments with him, and we'll follow up again at 6 months and 12 months. One other thing I'd say about Dr. Doty, I've got friends in several medical areas, psychiatry, heart, oncology. And believe it or not, they've all said, I wish I had more time with my patients, but the insurance doesn't allow that. And in my last appointment with Dr. Doty, I was surprised because we got into topic number 3 and topic number 4. We even briefly touched on faith, but can't say enough good things about my experience with him. Well, naturally, PT after a major surgery like that is part of the process, and very important. And I was not aware that Erlanger had multiple locations where I could have done the physical therapy. And they assigned me to Gun Barrel Road, which is fine. So I was driving east before I drove west back downtown. But it was such a good experience, I never thought about changing. And my good fortune, I was assigned to this Dr. Elizabeth Green, and she's an athlete herself and still a competitive runner. And I think she understood that I wanted to get back. And she got me back to 100% range with her assistance, which can't do any better than 100%. But the other thing was she read her patients, and I'm motivated. She understood that. She said, you're motivated, Kurt. And she pushed me. And, big things come in small packages. But she was so sweet on the outside, but she was a taskmaster. And she would give me exercises, and, we just kept going. It was like a workout. But then I would see her with other patients in the workout space, and she adjusted to them. But she was what I needed. But very kind. High level of competency and expertise, and I needed to be pushed, and she wanted to get me back to 100%, and she pushed me. So, A+ experience, can't say enough good things about that either. I just don't think people get singled out enough for the good things they do, and it was a positive enough experience. It wasn't my first medical experience. I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor, so I have something to compare it to. Anyway, they just did an outstanding job, and I'm happy to see them get credit for it. Anything I can say on their behalf to refer people to them, I would do that wholeheartedly.